the layered aspect of the model coincides with the metasemantic architecture. So metasemantics was meanings about meanings. We're looking at categories of meanings. Each one of these layers represents a different category of meaning. Okay, now those categories, the metasemantic architecture, it's expressed formally in the reference model for open distributed processing in the metasemantic viewpoints. Now this work is expressed formally in, this is also goes by the name of ISO 10746, and it's all very explicitly as a standard, an ISO standard, it's very explicitly defined. Like if you look at the where the ideas originated, Mario Bohm and Hayek were both credited in systems theory or philosophy as really being some of the first to publish ideas on these topics. Okay, so the idea is we have all these layers. So if we're looking at a set of concepts as in a field is one way of dividing concepts into sets. But so if we look at any field, the mechanical field per se, right? We have people in that mechanical field that look at the field from the technology viewpoint. So a person looking at the mechanical field from the technology viewpoint is looking at the field as a tradesperson, as somebody who practices techniques in constructing and maintaining mechanical systems. Okay, so, but beyond tradespeople, we also have people that look at the mechanical field from the engineering viewpoint. And people who are looking at the engineering, from the engineering viewpoint at different fields, are looking not at the techniques and practicing the techniques, but actually looking at principles in the field and applying those principles to construct processes. The techniques help to construct and maintain the processes. The engineers look at either designing processes or consulting about different processes. Okay, so the blue layer, the technological layer, is the top layer. It's the layer that sits right on the top. The engineering layer is the layer just below that, and they all go from the bottom, but they have different limits in the sense of how far each of them has been developed. So the next layer is the computational layer. This is the scientific layer. So if we're talking about different layers of information. If techniques and trades practices in our culture are built conceptually on top of engineering principles, then engineering principles are built on scientific principles. We're looking at the same fields, we just have a different sort of attitude toward the sort of thing that we're interested in within the field. Okay, so the computational viewpoint represents the scientist. These people are doing research. They're looking at data and trying to identify patterns within the data and trying to isolate the different reasons those patterns are being produced, very particularly. Okay, so science, engineering, tradespeople, the informational viewpoint, the black viewpoint, that's the viewpoint of mathematics. Again, not as a layer, if trades are built on engineering, engineering is built on science, science is built on mathematics. Each time we're looking at a different viewpoint, we are compressing or eliminating a whole bunch of information that doesn't mean anything to us. The consequences of our theories, a whole bunch of fat as far as we're concerned. It's just, if you're looking at math very seriously, you don't necessarily have to pay any attention to the fact that, you know, somebody is eventually gonna build a scientific concept on your mathematics or an engineering concept. Implicitly, that has a great potential of happening, but you're only concerned with mathematical entities, which are very, very ambiguous. They're not, the meaning of the variables we're dealing with are all hypotheticals. There's no context involved. So this hierarchy, in a sense, then, can be thought of as going from very straightforward and in front of you to very abstract and very, very more complex. Okay, so we've gone through these different layers of the model. The next viewpoint is the enterprise viewpoint. Okay, so if we have techniques, processes, theories, models, so scientific theories, mathematical models, and we have enterprise policies and procedures. Policies and procedures guide the actions of each of the members of the organization. Policies and procedures are common to people in the organization looking at it from any of the metasemantic viewpoints and any of the fields that may be involved. So in the enterprise viewpoint, if we were dealing with math in the informational viewpoint, in the enterprise viewpoint, we're dealing with logic, because logic is common to every one of the metasemantic viewpoints and any one of the particular potential fields. Okay, so that's the metasemantic aspect of the model.